And surprise, everyone, and welcome to a shockingly hatless and badly coiffed edition of episode 121 of the most must-see show to ever hit the Bedford TV airwaves, or any airwaves for that matter, north, south, east, west, frontwards, backwards, or anywhere in between, the Wrestling Connection. I am your host, as always, your pontiff of professional wrestling, your connection to the wrestling world, Mr. Ken Hill, at your service. Now, you notice, as per usual, I'm not accompanied by either of my co-hosts, Zach or Julian, but we'll get to that in just a moment. I am, however, accompanied by, of course, the infamous Mr. Greg Dolan behind camera here, the lovely Big Four pay-per-view champion, Miss Julie and Trajan, and, of course, back again, our resident guest star, bi-weekly guest star, Mr. Brian Dorrington Jr. Welcome back, Brian. For this,
Thank you,
it's
Ken.
going to be a very interesting edition of the Wrestling Connection. A lot of shocking news, both on the show and WWE. A lot to go over. And apparently, it's rotating camera day here at Bedford TV. 3 shots for the price of none. All right, so anyway, shocking news here at the Wrestling Connection. If you have been following the show and, of course, following us on our Facebook page, Julian's been making a lot of noise about how he was going to be here to accept championship for really the first time ever. Because, of course, last year at Money in the Bank, he could not be here to accept it because, again, of transportation issues. This time around, though, he was making a lot of noise about being here to accept this. He could not. Now, I have abided by his and Zach's continued absences because of vacations, inconveniences, transportation issues. You see me talk about it on the website where I'm very affable about it. I'm very easygoing about it. But there comes a point where you have to put your foot down and you have to make an example. So, because Julian made a promise, not just to me, but to the fans of the Wrestling Connection, that he was going to be here to accept this, the King of Pay-Per-View Championship, since he cannot be here to accept this, since it's been a continued habit of his, I officially announced at this time that he has been stripped of the WK King of Pay-Per-View Championship. The championship will now be officially vacated, and a new champion will be determined at the next pay-per-view in July, WWE Battleground. Julian, buddy, I'm sorry, but you gotta be here. You gotta be here to be a champion. Okay? Bottom line. Now, that being said, Julian did officially retain at Money in the Bank in a very close-fought WK King of Pay-Per-View clash. Had quite a few close calls with him, myself, Mr. Dorrington Jr., of course, our WK outsider, Fred Kazan of FredKazansBasement.com, and Nick. Several close calls, a close race for the King of Pay-Per-View Championship, but ultimately Julian did come on top. Sad to say he's not here to accept the championship. Now, that being said, of course, we had the pay-per-view itself, Money in the Bank, which, according to WWE, was going to be the biggest Money in the Bank pay-per-view ever, not counting 2011. But I wouldn't say it was the biggest one. I wouldn't say it was WrestleMania worthy, but it was certainly a quality pay-per-view, top to bottom. You had good shit. You had some good matches. You had storylines moving forward here. Some coming to a head. Let's just jump into things, shall we? We started with the pre-show matches. These ones weren't covered in the Pay-Per-ReView, but we'll go over them anyway. We had we don't have a photo for this one, for the Dudleys versus the Lucha Dragons. Now, this is not the match I was talking about. We don't have one for Dudleys versus Luchas. The Luchas won this one, as they should. It was your basic WWE tag team fair, which I think is better, because the Dudleys at this point are strictly enhancement talent for the new era, for the newer tag teams, for the new era tag teams. So I think it was better for the Luchas because I see them more potentially getting involved in the tag team title hunt than the Dudleys at this point. All right, the other pre-show match we had was the Golden Truth versus Breezango, or as they probably should be called, Fabriz. But yeah, anyway, the storyline behind this one was that Fandango and Tyler Breeze apparently suffered some very badly made up. Yeah, that's your WWE makeup crew at work right there. Badly made up sunburns that affected them throughout the match and led to Golden Truth picking up their first win as a tag team. Now, I'm frankly glad this is over. I'm glad Golden Truth got the win, but this was just horrible, okay? Just let the two teams go at it. You don't need the excuse. And if anything, it paints Golden Truth in a bad light because they had to pretty much give their opponent skin cancer in order to win a match. So what does that say about Goldust and R-Truth? All right, so moving on to the main show. We kicked things off with the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match for the Tag Team titles. New Day defending against Vaudevillains, Enzo and Cass, and the Club with Anderson and Gallows. Now, this one was... I'm typically a big fan of multi-tag team melees, but this one was kind of a clunker. I mean, a lot of the spots were involving the Club, particularly Anderson, were kind of slow. I mean, Gallows was slow on the take here. Kind of missed his cue a couple of times. It really kind of threw off the rhythm of the match. I mean, for what it was fine. It was a good opener to start, but I just feel like there were a few clunky moments in this match that could have been done better. I mean, I guess Gallows having a great sense of humor in the locker room doesn't translate to him having a good sense of in-ring chemistry. Of course, the New Day retaining in the match and going on to likely break the all-time WWE Tag Team title record, surpassing the record of Brian Kendrick and Paul London. Now, moving on from there, we had the seemingly never-ending rivalry between Dolph Ziggler and Baron Corbin. Now, this one, I mean, if you've seen one Corbin-Ziggler match, who hasn't, you've seen them all. Corbin pretty much dominated the match. Ziggler tried wrestling more amateur style. The problem with this one was, this is one really where Corbin should have known Ziggler so well by this point. He really should have dominated the match. The fact that it was back and forth, the fact that Ziggler got his share of near falls, really I felt like took away from this. Corbin did not really have a dominating victory at all coming out of this feud, and I think that's what hurts this. I mean, yes, he won the feud. Hopefully, he can move on, but the truth of it is, he just... I mean, Brian, I kind of want you to chime in on this one. I mean, do you feel like that this is finally the end of Corbin versus Ziggler? Because, I mean...
I think so. I think I don't think going back to it's going to prove anything. Corbin proved that he's the better guy.
Not quite
Are you hearing me okay?
A little more.
How's that?
A little more.
Give me... How's that?
Oh, yes. Technical difficulties. Day to day here at the...
How's this? Still no good?
Still no good.
How are we doing now?
Okay, we're good.
Better? Just as long as you can hear, we're good.
Okay, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, because it sounds good back here.
All right.
Yeah, where was I? Yeah, I think Corbin proved that he's the better guy. Ziggler right now with his the way he is with the WWE, he's not happy. He's really just there to put over new talent, this new generational talent. I think maybe he'll move on and try to put over one of a newer NXT star, whoever that next guy will be. But I think that feud is done with him and Corbin needs to go. And I think he needs to get in the Intercontinental picture when Miz gets back. I see him competing for that soon.
Yeah, I could definitely see him in a triple threat or a fatal four-way scenario for the IC title. I mean, I could very well. I could see Cesaro taking the belt off of Miz. I could see Cesaro and Corbin mixing it up, which would be interesting enough as it is. I mean, Cesaro's really not doing anything. I mean, he's kind of on the cusp of the WWE World Championship picture, but more on the outside looking in than anything else. So yeah, then we move on to another mid-card match, a mid-card feud with Apollo Crews mixing it up with Sheamus. Now, this one was actually a pretty decent storyline. Sheamus coming back from his filming of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. He's worried about his spot being usurped by the new era talent, and as so is taking it out on Apollo Crews. Now, this match was all right. I mean, I'm not a big fan of roll-up victories because they don't really justify anything. But in this case, it actually works for Apollo getting the surprise roll-up because Sheamus constantly underestimated him, didn't expect a high-flying offense from a man the size of Apollo, and of course he made him pay for it. Now, Sheamus got his back on this past Thursday on SmackDown with a count-out victory, but it's not the same as 50. It's not 50-50 booking. He just beat him up. He got a count victory, not the same as a straight-up pinfall or submission. So Apollo still kind of got the leg up here. Now, hopefully, this is not like the big reason they brought up Apollo here, because, I mean, I like to think that WWE has a rhyme and reason for bringing up new talent seemingly before they're ready. So, I mean, if there's an overall plan for Apollo, I hope it goes beyond being someone like Sheamus. Because, I mean, it's good that he beat a former WWE World Heavyweight Champion, but Sheamus hasn't been relevant in a long time. So, I'm hoping that they have some bigger plans for Crews in the future. I mean, Brian, do you feel like that Apollo, just like in the same vein as Corbin, he could be ready for like a IC title or US title picture?
I wouldn't say he's as far along as Corbin. It's simply because his mic skills aren't that great. Corbin's aren't that great either, but he doesn't really need it with sort of his lone wolf persona. You know, the way he looks, his physical prowess and aesthetics sort of carry him through without having to be good on the mic. Crews sort of struggles on the mic. Athletically, he's there. He's one of the top guys. For top mid-carders, talent-wise. I just don't see him being there yet. He might end up sort of like a Neville type guy.
That's what I've heard. I mean, I've heard rumors about, like, once they bring Neville back, that he and Crews could possibly form a tag team, which I would not be opposed to. It would be interesting. It would be a good way to integrate Neville back into the roster, and a good way for Crews to get some rub off from Neville, who's an experienced high fly with WWE the past year. So I wouldn't be against the idea. All right, so moving on to the next match was the women's tag team match featuring Charlotte and her protege, Dana Brooke, going up against Natalya and Becky Lynch. Now, this was a serviceable tag team match. At the end, we had some miscommunication with Becky and Natalya. Dana slamming Becky into Natalya head first. Charlotte followed up with the natural selection on Natalya, beating her, and once again, kind of furthering the storyline, belief that Natalya just cannot be is just second best when it comes to Charlotte. Now, following the match, we had a heel turn. We had a shocking heel turn by Natalya, and essentially the reasoning behind that was that she was tired of looking out for others. She's looking out for herself. And Becky pretty much said the same thing. She was tired of giving everyone second chances. Same here. She's tired of giving everyone second chances, and that she's going to have to look out for herself. Now, this is all well and good. I mean, it could make for an interesting edge with Natalya. The problem is, though, is that, I mean, how many faces does the women's division really have? I mean, okay, I guess you could count Paige, but she's more of a tweener. Alicia Fox, I guess. Lord knows with her. Bree's retired. Nikki's still on the mend. So really, all there is Becky Lynch, because then you have Charlotte, Natalya, Dana, Summer Rae. I mean, not that we've seen Summer Rae on television in the last few weeks, but you get my point. I mean, there's a kind of it's a lopsided ratio, so to speak. I mean, just for insight, we go to our resident women's division expert, Julie. Julie, do you notice this too? Just how lopsided this whole face to heel thing is in the women's division?
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
I agree that it's lopsided. And as much as I love Charlotte, how much longer is she going to continue to hold the belt? I've been saying there's so many other talented women here. I don't know why we have to only rely on one to represent us. There are so many others.
And the problem is, Charlotte, I mean, it's good that she has someone like Dana, okay, that can kind of fill in some of the spots for Charlotte. Charlotte's mic skills still need some work. She tends to be too overdramatic where a promo doesn't really call for it. And I mean, she still has a hard time with the concept of selling in the match. I mean, she'll take a big time maneuver and then she'll pop up and be just fine seconds later. I mean, we're talking the daughter of Nature Boy Ric Flair, and you think one of the first things she would have learned from Rick is like how to sell. He was a master of selling.
Yeah, my question for you is, when do you think they're going to dethrone her? Do you think they're going to do it at SummerSlam?
I think they're going to do it at SummerSlam. They're definitely teasing the whole thing with her and Sasha Banks, who made her return after her shocking concussion injury. It's great to have Sasha back. I imagine that we could have a rematch, like a triple threat rematch at Battleground. We could see a fatal four-way with the women's, with Charlotte, Paige, Becky, and Sasha. Then maybe just have Sasha, Charlotte one-on-one at SummerSlam. I'd be all for that. I mean, I really don't know what their plan is going into Battleground for the women's championship, but I do know that really I think the end result is going to be SummerSlam with Charlotte taking on Sasha one-on-one. As for Becky, I don't know where she is at this point. I mean, it's interesting to see what direction she's going in. The crowd loves her. The crowd's totally behind her. They love this new attitude that she's done giving everyone second chances, considering how many times she's been stabbed in the back. The unfortunate thing we've seen in the last couple of weeks as well is that we've kind of come to the realization that maybe Paige is not as good a wrestler as we thought she was. We just in the last few matches we've seen with her and Charlotte, especially that 2.5-minute stinker from a couple of weeks ago on Raw, just that.
I mean, she's a good villain.
She's a good
against
villain.
Charlotte,
She's better. I think she's better when she's a heel because she has much more attitude. Her moves have a lot more snap. And basically when she's a face, it's just kick, 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 kick. There's no real rhyme. There's no real rhythm or method to her matches when she's a face, because I really don't think she knows what to do, how to come across as a face. I mean, the crowd loves her too, but but point is, she kind of looks lost when she does it.
Yeah, I agree. So let's see what happens at SummerSlam. I think if it's going to happen, it'll happen there.
All right. So moving on from there, we come to the eponymous Money in the Bank ladder match. Now, this one was pretty action-packed. It actually had a pretty small contingent, six compared to usual 7, 8, 9, or even 10 participants that we usually have. You had plenty of good spots here. You had, I think, a hidden highlight here was just how particularly aggressive Alberto Del Rio was. We talked about how, we didn't want him to win at all, but for someone who wasn't going to win, he actually put forth a really good aggressive showing right here. This is the Del Rio I like to see. This is the Del Rio I prefer to see, the one who's aggressive, the one who just endangers his opponents in the most brutal ways possible. Stomping on the ladders, just swing him, take him out of the match. You don't see ladder matches with a whole lot of psychology, but there was actually some good psychology here. Del Rio using his savvy to take everyone else out of the match. You see Jericho's increasing desperation to win the match that he first created. You saw Sami Zayn. Guys, come on.
He hasn't been on the show yet. He's supposed to say hi.
Well, I asked you guys to be on. I asked him to be on. Last.
was out filming. He just got in.
Oh, all right.
You want to go inside?
All right, get it.
Nick has something to say about the ladder match. He really liked it.
All right, so I mean, yeah, I know. Yes, we have a well, I wouldn't say a special guest, but we have a special co-host. Very special co-host.
Who actually picked this one? No, I actually didn't. I will give credit to the April.
I mean,
Thanks.
so yeah, I mean, the difference between this ladder match and a lot of different Money in the Bank ladder matches is that it actually told a story with all the different competitors. And like I said, you had Del Rio being particularly aggressive, which we don't usually see out of Del Rio. Usually he's more of a background character, but he stood out more, which I liked. And again, you had the continuing rivalry between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, and the commentators played up how that took away from either of them having a shot at the briefcase. Then you had, again, like I said, Jericho's increasing desperation, considering he created this match back in 2005. Yeah, in every incarnation he's been in, he's never won one.
So he created it and never won it?
He's never won one. I mean,
wow,
I mean, Ambrose invented the Asylum match, won his first time out.
I don't know if that's just bad luck or just horrible execution.
It's just horrible execution. It's everything all around. And then you had Ambrose. I mean, Ambrose basically just picking up the scraps here, capitalizing on all of that to take down the briefcase. I mean, of course, you had Cesaro uppercutting everything, except the ladders, which is a shame because this man's notorious for uppercutting steel steps. So uppercutting a steel ladder wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility for the Swiss Superman.
It's gotta hurt just a little bit.
Please, Cesaro.
What, does he have so much drugs in his system that he can't even
whoa,
feel it?
whoa.
Or is that... No, that was... Who was that one that got suspended? That was Reigns, right?
Well, yeah, we're actually going to talk about that.
I thought we had gotten to that one.
Oh, not quite, but we're almost there. All right,
so this is the latter one.
So again, as you can tell here, Ambrose taking down the briefcase, finally winning the Money in the Bank in his third attempt. Third time being the charm.
Third time's the charm. I like it.
Yep. Okay. And of course, we would find out that Ambrose is a notoriously patient fellow.
No.
We would find that out later.
Because he was on like a sports talk radio thing in Boston. You heard about that one. How he was impatient, or he wasn't really impatient was what he said.
Right, a little bit of foreshadowing.
He did, I didn't want to lose it, because he says I lose things a lot, which I don't get. But
so we don't spoil it for...
Yeah.
Moving on to the next match. We have AJ Styles versus John Cena. The WrestleMania-worthy dream match.
Ooh, no, I'm over here.
Ooh. Like WWE didn't shove that down our throats enough times as it is. Anyway, okay. I mean, so I like the story told in this match too. AJ pretty much wrestled a picture-perfect match. Cut Cena off at every opportunity. Didn't let him get into his routine. Didn't even let him get a proverbial starting blocks, as it were. I mean, AJ said himself on the Stone Cold podcast, he's one of the few wrestlers who's capable of changing his styles to match the guy he's facing. He knows.
Is that why his name is Styles?
Exactly. Exactly. Pun.
Say, is there
pun kind of intended?
Is there a pun there or no?
Pun. 50% intended.
I like it, Ken. All right.
Yeah. So I mean, he pretty much kept John down. Every time John tried to storm one of his infamous comebacks, Styles would cut him off. Come back, cut him off. Come back, cut him off. Okay. It was. I mean, AJ.
How many times did that happen?
Quite a few times,
few,
actually. I mean, Cena really could not get the ball rolling for a good chunk of the match, which was what I liked about this. AJ proved within the match that he was on the same level. That for all the power moves that Cena could throw at him, AJ could match him in speed, finesse, and even strength
in power too.
Power as well. AJ is a powerful guy for a little under 200 pounds. Now, as it is. Cena, what I liked was he was just like with Del Rio, he was aggressive in this match. Okay, he was opportunistic. He picked his spots
and executed them.
Capitalizing on the rare mistakes AJ would make. I like that side of Cena that we don't see. We only see really in these big marquee matches, like with the likes of AJ, of Kevin Owens, of CM Punk. Really, when you get the big name stars going up against Cena, that's where we see the more opportunistic side of Cena come out, and that's what I liked about this match. Now, what I don't like about this was the ending. Okay, basically,
Yeah, it was bad.
It wasn't bad per se, but you had the
Wasn't
club.
right.
You had the club come out. When the ref was dazed, hit Cena with the Magic Killer. AJ was down and out after the AA. We don't know if he would have gotten pinned for a 3 count. As it is, AJ rolls over, gets the 3 count, gets the big victory over Cena. But I mean, the way a lot of these Cena indie feuds go, it kind of begs the question. I mean, is it basically just downhill for Styles here? I mean, basically.
But he did win.
Well, he won, but again, it was dirty. I mean, you couldn't just.
He gets an asterisk on that one.
Exactly. Any win against Cena always has to have an asterisk on it.
Always.
Because God forbid he takes a clean loss and his merch sales take a hit.
Well,
So
it is a business, but however.
Yeah. However, okay. Still though. So I mean, like I said, AJ gets to win. I mean, it was a 4-star. It was a 4-star match, but I feel like just kind of the dirty ending to it just really took away from what I thought was a great match.
Great start, great middle, mediocre ending.
I'd say a mediocre ending. It was good for what it was. Of course, he was a heel. Of course, AJ would capitalize on having them at ringside. And of course, the following night, we have AJ being all apologetic, saying he didn't want them out there, saying they would get. He even acknowledged that, hey, you're giving Cena an excuse to come back at me. Cena tried to come out ever the conquering hero and try to say, just take the win as it is. Oh yeah, great example, Cena.
I love it.
Yeah, so I mean, now we're most likely going to have a rematch between Cena and AJ at Battleground. And
it's
then,
not Raw. That's too quick. That's too soon.
We'll likely have the big payoff at SummerSlam.
When is SummerSlam? That's coming up.
SummerSlam is in August.
August?
So yeah, we got Battleground in July. We got SummerSlam in August. So yeah. So moving on. So
the next match is
So moving on from that, we had the
forget the next one.
The United States Championship match. Rusev defending against Titus. Now,
I forget who I picked for that one.
I believe you.
I think I picked Rusev.
I believe you picked Rusev.
I didn't. The 8-Ball did.
The 8-Ball actually made this a lock, which we were right to pick.
Oh wow.
This was pretty one-sided. I mean, this was.
Where is my 8-Ball?
Honestly, it's in the back.
No, it's in the back.
The problem with this.
It's a little faster because we started late. You guys can move.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, well, you have to get him on there. So seriously.
Here we go.
All right. So anyway, okay, Rusev basically dominated this. This really wasn't kind of like the physical Haas fest that the Haas slug match.
Oh,
that
you
I
were
was
trading
expecting
blow for blow type
blow
of
for
thing.
blow. I mean, it was more slap fest than anything between these two.
That could be really funny, but yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. But as it is, Rusev basically dominated this match, as was expected. It doesn't matter that it's Father's Day. It doesn't matter that Ty's son were at ringside. Hey, you touch Vince McMahon's shoulder, you're
die.
You're getting squashed, buddy. That's basically how
you don't
we
touch
go.
Vince McMahon.
Of course, even though Tyus lost clean as a whistle, Rusev jaw jacked with his kids. And of course, you don't want to jaw jack Tyus' kid because then he comes out the next night on Raw,
and
all
will
aggressive,
beat you
Rusev
to death.
all around the arena. So of course, the feud must continue. Of course, because they can't.
It will never die.
It's not like they have a full roster that they can put up against Rusev. Never mind, we have to find a guy in Titus who's not a sterling singles competitor. Never mind that.
All right.
All right. So anyway, we come to the main event.
Hey, we gotta look like this technically now because the cameras are backwards.
The
main event.
All right, here we go.
Of course, Roman Reigns defending the WWE World Championship versus Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins, thank you.
Now, the interesting thing about this match was the dichotomy. These two
Weren't they like friends or something?
Well, no.
Quote unquote friends?
I mean, they had the obvious Shield build-up here. Four members of the Shield. But the dichotomy they played going into this match was interesting. I mean, you had Roman, who's supposed to be the squeaky clean face. He's supposed to be the guy. He's supposed to be the baby face. He's supposed to be the figurehead of the WWE. You had Seth Rollins coming back, better than ever.
From like an injury or something.
From a major near career-ending injury. Rebuilding himself, better than ever. Coming back for the championship. He never lost. So, yes. So, So you had a good build-up right there.
a
But
great
what's
build-up.
interesting was the story they told here was that you had Rollins playing more the straight-to-your-face, babyface style, whereas Roman was playing more the aggressive type, like as befitting his Samoan heritage. So it was like pretty much the writers and Vince basically just threw their hands up, said, okay,
Yeah, I'm done.
wrestle the style you're comfortable with. Okay, you had Rollins going up there wrestling more of a babyface style. You had Roman wrestling a more aggressive style with the power bombs, the slams, the multiple Superman punches.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Very, very aggressive. Lots of power moves.
exactly, lots of big time power moves. He's been perfecting that whole razor's edge into the sit up power bomb, which I love. That's a great move.
That hurts.
And he makes it look so. He makes it look so nasty
What,
too.
so nasty, yeah.
Exactly. That's what I love
Looks
about it.
looks dangerous out there.
Now, the end of this match came to me as a surprise.
Yep.
Because
I picked Roman on this
I
one.
picked Roman
Sorry,
on this
the
one,
8-ball picked Roman, but I
yeah,
would have picked
because-
Roman anyway.
Because Rollins had an amazing counter to the spear. Now the match came to its end when Reigns tried to go for a spear on the outside, misses it, hits the barricade. The refs and doctors have to check on him because he might be concussed. Rollins is having none of it because he knows this is one big opportunity. Rolls him back into the ring, gets set for the pedigree. Reigns pushes him back into the corner where the ref is. The ref is dazed. Reigns takes advantage of the confusion, hits Rollins with a spear. The ref is slow to the count because he got knocked for a loop. He makes the count. Rollins kicks out for a very shocking near fall. Now, Reigns basically tried going for another spear. This time, Rollins was ready, though, actually countering into what was a jumping pedigree. Something we never
Sounds
see.
a little tough.
It is a little tough. He did only get one arm, but it was an amazing counter. And then what does Rollins do? Okay, he doesn't get frustrated. He just picks up Reigns, hits him with another pedigree. 1, 2, 3. You have a new
WWE
World Heavyweight Champion. Or so we thought.
This was great.
Because right after this, like you said, Ambrose was not a patient fellow.
Man.
Saw his spot, saw his moment for vengeance 2 years in the making. After
And
Rollins,
did it.
standing back, nails Rollins from behind. Well, not necessarily from behind, but that's Rollins' story.
yeah.
And he's sticking to it.
That picture says otherwise. That
yeah,
is
nailing-
right in the face.
Nailing Rollins with the briefcase, cashing it in, capitalizing on a
I think that was, what, like an hour? He
Rollins.
held it for like
Rollins.
not even an hour.
Exactly. And picking up his first official
WWE
World Heavyweight Championship reign. I mean, great for Ambrose. I mean, his character had been
All right.
flagged.
If I had picked that, would you be? Would you give me like 10 points?
I probably would have. No, I probably. If anyone had gone with that, I probably would have laughed because I figured, oh hey, they're gonna wait until SummerSlam or they're gonna wait until WrestleMania.
He was not a patient man.
No, they're not a patient man at all, and it happened.
excuse was,
So,
I'm gonna
congrats
lose
to
it.
Ambrose.
Go
I've
Ambrose.
I've been a big follower of him. Been a big fan of him for the last couple of years.
Easy to see. He's the only one with jeans on, so it's like you can miss him.
So, I mean, of course, coming out of that, I mean, of course, just like Ambrose wasn't patient, the fans weren't really patient about the idea of a triple threat match between Ambrose, Roman, and Rollins for the WWE World Championship. Shane McMahon realized that, decided to make it happen. After a number one contenders match the next night on Raw between Rollins and Reigns, ended in a double countout. Ambrose wanted to fight them both. Shane McMahon granted Ambrose's wish. So at WWE Battleground, the main event is going to be Dean Ambrose in his first title defense versus both Seth Rollins and
Roman Reigns. Oh.
in a triple threat match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Now, however,
Does he just sit outside and let the two of them just kind of beat each other up
pretty
and then
much,
go in for the kill?
Because here's the shocking news. Oh, I was talking about at the top of the show. Going into the pay-per-view, it was found out by WWE that Roman Reigns had violated the WWE's
Wellness policy, right?
wellness policy,
Which is in
which is
code for what, steroid use or something
steroid
like
use, drug use. The thing is,
It's not domestic violence, though, right?
No. There are even prescription drugs
that are on
that are on the list that you can't take, that you have to pass by WWE officials to make sure that it's what
quote unquote legal.
quote unquote legal, kosher, whatever you want to call it. That basically it's good for your system. Now, apparently, whether it was something inconsequential or it was just an egregious violation.
Whether he just went,
The
you know
problem,
what,
the bottom
screw it,
line
I'm
is,
juicing up.
it's first offense.
Okay, so that's what, a
Roman is
month?
suspended for 30 days. Now, ironically enough, the Battleground pay-per-view was on July 24th, and Roman's suspension will be up on the 21st, a scant 3 days before his return to World Wrestling Entertainment. Now, typically when you're suspended,
You're not allowed to do anything.
Julie?
Julie? There we go.
There we go. Okay, typically when you're suspended, you don't get mentioned on television.
No.
And whatever match you're in, you're probably they find a storyline excuse for you to get taken out of. But what does WWE do? WWE
Does nothing.
does nothing of the sort. They not only keep Roman in the match, they mention him on SmackDown.
Oh.
They mention they still
There you
show the match card for Battleground for the
With
triple
him on
threat
it.
with him on it for the triple threat match. So they're going to promote a man who violated the WWE's wellness policy, while in the meantime you had Titus O'Neil serving what equated to a second wellness violation for touching Vince McMahon's shoulder. And he didn't get diddly squat of a mention until he made his return.
That's because Roman Reigns is what was.
Roman Reigns is the
phase.
golden boy. Roman
Yeah.
Reigns can do no wrong. No, WWE needs to make an example of Roman Reigns. That's the bottom line.
Hang him out to dry, pretty much.
Pretty much they have to hang him out to dry. They need to, I think they need to go a step further other than just not mention him on TV like they're supposed to. But they also need to take him out of the match. Well, obviously, if they're not going to take him out of the match, which they probably aren't.
No. It's
Yeah.
more, it's a business. More money for Roman Reigns.
Exactly.
It's weird
But
that I can hear
no,
myself.
you know what they need to do? I mean, obviously, they need to have him lose. Basically, they need.
Okay,
they,
lose or get destroyed.
Well, they need to get. Yeah, they pretty much need to give him the Brock Lesnar treatment earlier this year at Fastlane. They basically just need to have Rollins and Ambrose form a tentative partnership, take Reigns out for pretty much the whole duration of the match. So that way,
They
Reigns
literally
still
tag
gets to
team
be,
him and
Reigns
just-
still gets to be in the match, but he pretty much doesn't get to compete for the.
He comes in last, and then it's
he
Rollins.
comes in
and-
virtual last. He probably is the one that ends up eating the pin here, which I would be all for.
I'm
frankly.
for that one.
Because they need to make an example out here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, I don't like this. I don't like how. I mean, seriously, how much? How much further are you going to protect Reigns? Seriously, okay, they protect him with protect him with promos. They protect him with storylines. And
They're still mentioning him on a suspension.
And Reigns is clearly not comfortable position, which could very well be the reason why he had a drug violation in the first place, because he can't handle the extreme pressure WWE's putting him under. We still don't know the whole story.
I don't think we ever will.
I mean, this could be an inconsequential matter. It could
just be
like I said, it could be an egregious violation.
What, like Advil type of thing? So
It could be as simple as like popping an Advil, which I mean could not be approved. So that's the truth of the matter.
we shall see. I think
We shall
we've
see.
been told to wrap up. So
We're told to wrap up. However, though, of course, check out our website, thewrestlingconnection.com. Now, something we're going to plan, and I would actually like Julie to come out here for this. Julie, if you could give us a wide shot,
she can just take my spot. Here,
yeah,
here, Julie, just kind
we could have like a wide
here,
shot.
just come
for
like
the,
right.
because I was gonna. I mean, we were gonna use these.
What are we using these for?
We're gonna get.
Oh, there's stuff in here.
Yeah, we're gonna. Well, no, we need to have a wide shot.
Yeah,
of-
but you
He's
want
Greg's
minute, you
guy.
said, right?
Right.
Am I in it?
Yeah. All right. So,
We have like 2 minutes.
idea we discussed earlier in the season was planning a special event for Money in the Bank. Now, I'll keep things short. Essentially, we're going to have every official non-champion.
All right.
Every official non-champion is eligible for what I like to call the money in the money in the bank, the WK lottery.
Ah.
So now, essentially, how this goes is I have the 6 names of our technical non-champions, because Julian was technically the champion going to Money in the Bank, even though now he's stripped the championship. Now I have the 6 non-champions in here. Myself, you, Brian, Greg, of course our friend Fred,
We probably have about a minute left on the card.
and Zach. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So I have the names. I have the
Okay.
name
You
and the
want me
names
to
in
pick?
here. I have the. Actually, I'll be picking the names from this hat right
Okay.
here. Now we are going to pick 4 names. We have 4 different kinds of bonuses, Money in the Bank bonuses that will be eligible to use until TLC 2016 in December. So you can use these at any pay-per-view, any time up
All right,
up
go ahead,
until
Julie, let's
TLC.
pick. We don't have a lot of time.
All right. So
What time you got?
you can use them at SummerSlam. You can use them at any pay-per-view up until TLC.
Can I use it at SummerSlam?
If I pick your name, yes.
Use it at TLC.
You can use it
All
at
right.
TLC.
Okay.
That's
All
a
right.
lot of people on that screen.
Okay,
Well, big
so
audience.
I will pick the first name.
Please be me.
The first name is Greg.
Gregorio.
Now that depends. Julie, if you would care to kick one of the bonuses for, let's see, and
Bounce.
he gets a bounce bonus. Now how that plays out is just like the bounce bonus that Zach had at Payback. Essentially, you can take any opponent's pay-per-view match pick and force them to switch it. So essentially, if they pick, say you had a Zayn versus Owens match,
I could make him pick
Brian picked Zayn, you could use a bounce bonus, force him to pick
What if
Owens.
the Big Show's not in the match?
The Big Show.
You can't pick Big Show.
You just said he could pick Big Show.
Yeah.
I didn't say Big Show.
He said Big Show, and you said yes.
No, guys, we have.
Greg shouldn't get the
How
bounce.
large is the
All right, we
show?
only have 3 minutes. Let's go. Hurry
Oh,
up.
okay. So Greg.
All right, so Greg gets that one. All right,
Greg
who's
gets
next?
the bounce bonus.
Brian, pick the next one.
All right, the next one is.
Himself. You got to
Brian.
be kidding me.
Hey, I folded these up nicely.
I
Okay.
couldn't.
Oh,
All right,
Julie
well,
gets
no,
to pick
Ju-
these.
Yeah, Julie.
Oh.
Well, because
Don't
I was
pick
going to
that one.
have
Don't pick that
Julian
one.
and Julie.
He gets an extra lock.
He gets an extra.
He's gonna hide it.
He gets an extra lock. Brian gets an extra lock of the night
Does
again.
he have the key as well?
Ha ha. Very good. He gets,
Okay, Ghost
hold, hold on to that.
All right, next
Okay,
one.
Okay, next one. Okay, we got two names left, and the next one is
Not me.
myself. All right, now Julie.
Yes.
What,
Okay, let's free those up. There you go.
all
Pick a
right,
good one.
Now let's see what we got here. We got the -1.
Oh.
So
He already starts a -1.
Well, no, actually, I can put this on anyone else and force them to start out with a -1 for any pay-per-view leading up to tables, ladders, and chairs. Now, of course, I know what the last one is because I wrote these up myself. But let's see who will get the very last WK jackpot bonus.
Probably not me, knowing my
I
luck.
bet it's me.
Could it?
It is Zach.
course
Zach
it's-
gets the last bonus.
And it
It
is
is a
+1.
+1. So Zach.
That's
So,
crap.
so Zach can start himself out with a +1, or if he's feeling very generous, he can choose any of his opponents to start out with a +1.
Why would
going
you
to
ever
any-
do that?
If you're feeling extremely cocky, going into a pay-per-view.
So he should give it to
Thank
me
you.
because I need all that.
So of course now we know what everyone. Congratulations to everyone who got the bonuses. This should be a very interesting second half of 2016. So, like I said, stay tuned to the WrestlingConnection.com, our YouTube channel, Facebook page,
At the Wrestling Connection.
at the Wrestling Connection. And of course, you can email all your thoughts and well wishes and thoughts about the show to WrestlingConnection@gmail.com. But in the meantime, folks, summer is upon us, so get out there, get a nice tan for me, and yes, and I got a brand new.
He got a brand new hat.
I got a
The-
brand new
The
pot-
fedora is
Yeah,
gone.
the potted fez.
Here we go.
Yeah. Okay, the potted plant fez. All right. So in the meantime, folks, we have the WK Championship is in abeyance.
Ah,
Abeyance is the new WK King of Pay-Per-View champ. Yeah, but who will be the new champion of WWE Battlegrounds? We will see in 4 weeks.
4 weeks. That's not too bad.
So in the meantime, folks, remember, be connected, get connected,
and
stay
stay
connected.
connected. There you go, Greg. I've heard it too many times to ignore it.
It's something that I'm supposed
To be.
Someday we'll find it.
The Wrestling Connection. The lovers, the dreamers, and me. We really kissing on a lot.
Hey, whoa, whoa.
There it is.
Hey, knock it off. Brian, I had a hard enough time getting those